respected chief guest of the inaugural session, Shri CMD, TS Genco and TS Transco, Shri GR Reddy ji, CMD Discom, my colleague Engineer Ratnakar Rao ji, Secretary General Aipef, Chief Patron Honorable Shri Padamjit Singh ji, our patron Honorable Shri Ashok Rao ji, our patron Honorable Shri Engineer PN Singh ji, PS PEA General Secretary Engineer Sadanand ji, and all my friends. All India Power Federation Federal Council meeting. Already it has been inaugurated in Hyderabad, and it is our pleasure, and we are feeling, everybody is feeling very happy here in a very good weather. We have assembled here all the elaborate arrangements done by Telangana State Power Engineers Association with the help of Genco, Transco and Discom. We are all thankful to them. In a very good weather, we have assembled here. And as told by Secretary General, in the forenoon session, in this inaugural session, we will be deliberating about some policy matters. Engineer Ashok Rao has circulated a paper on stressed assets in the power sector. Stressed assets in the power sector is a very burning and talkative subject today. I would request that Engineer Ashok Rao should deliberate on it. Engineer Padamjit Singh ji is here. Actually, he is Bhishma Pitama of our engineers community, and he has a vast knowledge of power sector. What is happening in which state, in which district, in which power plant. Throughout the day, he studies, he gathers all the knowledge, and he will be deliberating on the policy issues. I would like to submit the viewpoint of All India Power Federation, how Electricity Act was enacted, and what happened with the Electricity Act 2003, and what is behind the Electricity Amendment Bill 2014. Today it is 2018. What are the amendments? What Government of India wants to do? Particularly, it is not the policy of Government of India. उनकी नीति क्या है वह महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है. What is their intention? उनकी नियत क्या है? The policy is not important. The important is the intention behind these amendments. Then, thermal power stations of the state-owned power sector, they are being backed down, are being closed totally to facilitate the IPPs, private power generators. What happened in Odisha? What happened in Delhi? What happened to urban distribution franchises? These are some of the points which I will be deliberating. First of all, I will be giving some points about the Electricity Amendment Bill 2014. Since the bill was placed before the Parliament on 19th December 2014, so it is known as Electricity Amendment Bill 2014. At that time, we met Union Power Minister Piyush Goyal ji. Piyush Goyal ji showed us that before the standing committee, all the stakeholders, including power engineers, power employees, and all the stakeholders will get the opportunity to represent their cases to discuss before the standing committee. One fine morning in May 2015, I knew that standing committee is going to submit its report. Before that, in February 2014, in Mumbai, my subordinate engineer secretary Maharashtra colleagues were also with me at that time in Mumbai. There also, at that time, the chairman of the standing committee was Mr. Kirit Somaiya. Kirit Somaiya is member of parliament from Mumbai. He is also my old friend. He was also there. And in Mumbai also, Kirit Somaiya assured time and again that you will be given opportunity to put your viewpoints before the standing committee. But one fine morning I could know that the standing committee is going to submit its report in May. I directly called Kirit Somaiya. I asked him whether you are going to submit the report. He said yes. I asked him, you had promised that all the stakeholders, including power engineers, will be given opportunity. What has happened? We have not got any opportunity. He said, due to various reasons, cannot be explained on telephone, I had to submit my report. And tomorrow report will be submitted. Report was submitted. And what is written in the report? All the stakeholders were discussed. All the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders mentioned in the report? Stakeholders are all industrial and commercial chambers. They are the stakeholders. They did not think that the major stakeholder in the power sector, major stakeholders are only two. One is the power consumer. Power consumer is the biggest stakeholder in electricity sector. And the other is power implant. These two are the biggest stakeholders. But none of the electricity consumer or none of the electricity employees or engineers association, they were given opportunity. We opposed it. We submitted our protest before them. But when the report of the standing committee came, then we saw that about 20 state governments, they also opposed the proposed draft of the electricity amendment bill. And which were the main states? I want to mention the name of Gujarat. Gujarat was the main state. During 2014 elections, throughout the country, the present ruling party, they were asking for the votes on the pattern of the Gujarat model. As far as electricity model of the Gujarat is concerned, I have no hesitation to say we are proud of Gujarat. Gujarat has given continuously for the last 6 years. Gujarat discoms are the best discoms in the country. But I would like to mention that Gujarat discoms are public sector discoms. Gujarat discoms are government-owned discoms. Gujarat discoms are not private discoms. And if Gujarat model is something to be followed throughout the country, then public sector model, because Gujarat model is public sector model. Whatever Gujarat discoms has done in the public sector, that should be done and followed in other states also. That was our demand, that we were demanding. But what Gujarat government commented on the draft bill of electricity amendment bill 2014, Gujarat government has given in writing that if adopted, if implemented electricity amendment bill 2014, it will be disastrous and this will be the beginning of the total collapse of the power sector in Gujarat. That is the Gujarat government which has given in writing. Tamil Nadu government, all other governments, as I told you, about 20 state governments have opposed various clauses. But in brief, I will go in brief. What has been told behind the background of this bill? Bill seeks to give consumer choice to existing consumers without first giving electricity to them. Government of India itself says that more than 30 crore people, more than 4 crore houses in the country are still without electricity. They have no access to electricity. My humble question is whether electricity to them is the first requirement or consumer's choice is the first requirement. My simple question is, 30 crore people who have no access to electricity through this Electricity Amendment Bill 2014, what will be the choice of those citizens who are not having any access to electricity? उनको आप कौन सी बिजली देंगे जिनके घर तक बिजली पहुंची ही नहीं है? आप कह रहे हैं कंज्यूमर के चॉइस की बिजली हम उनको देंगे. And the most dangerous part is segregation of country and country. It is a drastic change in the distribution system of states. Since electricity is on the concurrent list, concurrent list means this is the subject of the state government too. So first state government should, their opinion should be taken because it is on the concurrent subject. My humble submission is that Parliament should not and Parliament cannot dictate the states since electricity is on the concurrent list. So Parliament should not pass any bill without the consent of the state. First the consent of the state should be taken. And then third point, they are saying that there will be several supply licenses and one incumbent supply license. Incumbent supply licensee will be a government company. And several other supply licenses, they will be private supply licenses. Only incumbent company will have the universal supply obligation. That means only incumbent company will be forced to give connections to PTWs, to farmers, to below poverty line. That means the government company by default will become a loss-making company. And cherry picking will be there. Private supply licenses, they will be supplying electricity to high-end consumers, industrial consumers, commercial consumers, for their benefit only. Just now we were discussing with Prabhakar Rao, CMD, GENCO and Transco, and he was telling that we are not able to recover the cost of electricity. If cost of electricity is to be recovered, then again my question is, I along with Padamjit Singh ji, Ashok Rao ji, Ashok Jain ji, Ratnakar Rao ji, we all had recently a meeting with R.K. Singh ji, Union Power Minister of India. And I asked him that this is a loss-making business. If cost of electricity is to be recovered, then nobody will supply electricity to the consumers to whom you are giving the supply at tariff which is below cost. Nobody is going to supply them. Then you know what R.K. Singh replied? He laughed and he said, Shailendra, for that we will be having one government company and government company will supply them. Then I questioned, so government company by default will become a loss-making company, and it all is being done on the ground of losses only. Electricity boards were also unbundled because they were saying that mounting losses are not checked. Anyway, in brief, I am telling you everything. As far as consumer choice is concerned, Electricity Act 2003 already gives consumers choice to existing consumers above 1 megawatt and open access to them. This provision has not worked successfully because exit of high revenue consumers causing financial loss to state discoms, and SERC has to intervene and introduce cross-subsidy surcharge to protect the financial position of the state discom. Maharashtra is the biggest victim due to open access. Maharashtra has suffered thousands of crores of rupees. These are the points, some technical points. As I told you, I am speaking in very brief on these points. And one intermediary company, they say that one intermediary company will be formed. Intermediary company would not be able to manage the various PPAs simply because of large number of private players coming in as supply licensing. Already with the existing system of one state and one SLDC, the management of power purchase is becoming already extremely difficult. However, with private supply licenses, the scheduling and management of interstate PPAs would become more difficult. In the present situation, the problem of stranded PPAs and shutting down of the state thermal power station has become serious. Ashok Rauji will be telling more on this point. So these were some of the issues which are going to affect the power industry, which are going to affect the power employees, which are going to affect the power engineers. Now there are some points which are going to affect the power consumers also. Provision of amendment of section 61D, Paramjit Singh was saying just now to Chairman Sahab. Provisions of amendment in 61D of Electricity Act 2003, which guarantees the recovery of the cost of supply, the licenses without any revenue deficit. Actually, what is the correct language I will read before you. There is a shift in emphasis of the prime interest, that is to safeguard, while section 61D of Electricity Act 2003 stipulates the principle of safeguarding of consumers' interest and at the same time the recovery of the cost of electricity in a reasonable manner. This was previously, यह पहले था. The principle of safeguarding our consumers' interest and at the same time the recovery of the cost of electricity in a reasonable manner. Now it is being replaced. Section D of the amendment bill says the interest of the licensee, safeguarding the consumer interest and at the same time recovery of the cost of electricity by licensees without any revenue deficit. When amendment says that recovery of the cost of electricity should be without any revenue deficit. So if it is without any revenue deficit, then who is going to suffer? Only consumer is going to suffer. So this is a point which is going to affect the consumer. The provision that commission shall necessarily be guided by the tariff policy. Now, they are dictating is highly objectionable as it gives power to the government of India to dictate the terms and conditions to SERCs by way of inducting the tariff policy, and this undermines the functions and independent functioning of the state as well as the regulator. Then another point, provision of monthly pass-through of fuel and power purchase costs through price adjustments formula, again either step to ensure financial profit to supply licenses at the cost of consumers. So these are some major points, sir, which we are putting before the government of India. We have put all these points before Piyush Goyal sir. We have put all these points before R.K. Singh sir. But nobody is interested to discuss. Every time we have been told that some amendments will be issued. We are reading in the newspapers only that some amendments have been done. And whenever we are talking with our counterparts in other state governments says that no amendment draft has yet been circulated. With the present financial position of most of the state power utilities and state discoms being precarious and under stress, no such move to segregate carriage and content should be considered or implemented without the consent of the state government, without the consent of the power engineers, without the consent of the power employees, without the consent of the power consumers. Otherwise, we will have no option except to resort to a nationwide legislation which we have already decided. And in the nationwide legislation, we have already decided that sometimes during December 2018, all power employees and engineers throughout the country, about 15 lakh power employees and power engineers, shall resort to 2-day strike to draw the attention of the government against this derogatory anti-people and anti-employee and anti-consumer electricity amendment bill 2014. So, in brief, I have to put some points on this. Regarding Electricity Act, why Electricity Act was enacted? Electricity Act was enacted simply, they were giving the reason that state electricity boards have become commercially unviable. They have become white elephants, सफेद हाथी हो गए हैं, इसलिए उनको तोड़ देना चाहिए. State electricity boards were unbundled one by one. Today all the state electricity boards have been disintegrated. It is only Kerala and Himachal Pradesh where KSEB Limited, actually it started at Kerala. Kerala government said that Electricity Act does not say for unbundling, it says only for the corporatization. And Kerala government said that Kerala State Electricity Board will have integrated function of electricity generation, transmission and distribution together. And they formed KSEB as KSEB Limited. Even today it is functioning. And on the same grounds, Himachal Pradesh also took it, and SPSEB has also been incorporated as SPSEB Limited. And even today it is functioning like that. But I want to mention, at the time of enactment of Electricity Act 2003, the total accumulated losses of the power sector were of the tune of rupees 20,000 crores. Now losses and debt are more than 10 lakh crores. So losses are increasing. Just recently I have written a letter about Odisha. Odisha was the first to be unbundled in 1995. Odisha was first to be totally privatized in 1999. At that time, what were the losses of Odisha distribution? Losses were only 350 crores. Today losses are more than 6,500 crores. That is why I want to say, I want to emphasize on this point. I forcefully want to say that the experiment of unbundling of state electricity board has miserably failed, and there is no policy. Maharashtra is the biggest state. In Maharashtra, only one distribution company is functioning. Haryana is a very small state. In Haryana, 2 discoms are functioning. In Assam, previously 2 discoms were functioning. In UP, 5 discoms are functioning. In Tamil Nadu, discoms and generator are combined. In Punjab, generation and distribution is combined. In Kerala, transmission, distribution, generation, everything is combined. So, AIPF viewpoint is that Electricity Act 2003, the way it has been enacted, it has not achieved its desired results. It should be reviewed, and it should be reviewed with elaborate discussions with the power engineers, with the professionals, and at the same time, integration of power utilities should be done. This is our demand, this is our major demand, that all power utilities in the states should be integrated like KSEB Limited. Like KSEB Limited, here it should be Telangana State Electricity Board Limited. In the adjacent state, it should be APSEB Limited, it should be TNEB Limited, it should be KEB Limited, it should be UPSEB Limited, it should be PSEB Limited, and like that. There is no problem in Kerala. So if Kerala can go like it, so integration of state electricity utilities, all power utilities, that is our major demand, one of the demands. Why state assets have come? I told you that Ashok Rao will be telling. But only one thing I want to mention. The role of Central Electricity Authority has been totally diluted by way of Electricity Act 2003. Now CEA has no authority. No economic clearance are being given. Generation has been de-licensed. Anybody may come. He is my friend. I can ask him come and put up a generation plant. So, and these stressed power assets, they are not only threatening the power plants, they are threatening the financial institutions also. Even banks are under threat. Even other financial institutions like Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation, they are also under threat. So, these are some of the points, and one thing I would like to mention, that appointment of CMD and principal secretaries in the power sector, they should be professional. I am very happy to note here that Telangana is a state, Punjab is a state where CMDs of the power sector are professional. and Telangana is running in a professional way. I want to tell you something. My friends in Telangana, they are aware about it. But my friends coming from across the country, they are not aware. Total number of 13,357 posts have been sanctioned in Telangana. After the formation of Telangana, 13,350. Why? Because Telangana has a professionalized chairman. This is the only reason, no other reason. If Aipef would have been a chairman here, जैसा चल रहा है दूसरी जगहों पर, recently they have given 54% hike to artisan grades. In artisan grade 4, now minimum wages are approximately 20,000. And in artisan grade 1, now the minimum wages are 30,000. This is nowhere in the country. We should applaud, give a big flag. Telangana has done. You have done it. We appreciate you. We talk about you wherever I go in the country. I talk about you that you have done it. Telangana has done it. Shailendra has done it. We say everywhere that Telangana government has done it. But the most important thing Telangana government has done, that 6,000 megawatt MOU signed with the BHEL directly. No bidding, no private sector, no private company. As soon as the new government came, you have signed the MOU of 6,000 megawatt with BHEL. अभी अशोक राव जी आपको बताएंगे, BHEL मर रहा है, BHEL को कोई काम देने वाला नहीं है। यह तेलंगाना भारत का राज्य है जिसने 6,000 मेगावाट के पावर प्लांट दिए। इस बात के लिए हम आपका अभिनंदन करना चाहते हैं। वी वांट टू वेलकम। अभी जब आप बोलेंगे ऑल इंडिया पावर फेडरेशन आपका अलग से अभिनंदन करेंगे, तो यह अभिनंदन का कार्य है। इन्हीं कार्यों से हम लोग जानते हैं। फॉर असिस्टेंट इंजीनियर, more than 2,200 new posts have been created by you in Telangana. So, and then one more thing, the new chief minister, when he came, all the IAS peoples have been removed from the power sector in Telangana. Now there are no IAS. Reddy Saab is sitting here. He is engineer. He is chairman of the DISCOM. All DISCOMs in Telangana are having engineer chairman. So you have done it, and whatever you have done it, we want simply all these things should be done throughout the country, in other parts of the country. Before I conclude, I want to introduce that right from Assam to, right from Guwahati to Shailendra, all the states, 18 constituents of the country are present here. बिजली इंजीनियरों के लिए एक लघु भारत के रूप में हम लोग यहाँ पर एकत्र हुए हैं। We have assembled here as mini India for power engineers. This is the federal council making of the power engineers. But one thing is known for the power engineers. वो ये कहते हैं कि इन लोगों का क्या है, इन लोगों का तो काम ही जलना है। But it is not like that. I will complete my words with two couplets of दुष्यंत कुमार जी। हम दिया है, जलना हमारी फितरत है। हम दिया है, जलना हमारी फितरत है, लेकिन यह मत समझना कि हम काम कर रहे हैं जलने के लिए। It is our duty. We are burning, we are lighting, giving light. This is our duty. तो इन शब्दों के साथ मैं आपको यह कहना चाहता हूं कि with this federal council meeting here we would be resolving some very important resolutions in the afternoon. We will be deciding future programs, maybe educational, maybe organizational programs, but we are not going to keep quiet. I would complete my words with another couplet of Dushant Kumar. दुष्यंत कुमार थे, वह कहते हैं यह शांति मिजाजी पीस, यह शांति मिजाजी तुम्हें जीने नहीं देगी। इस दौर में जीना है तो कोहराम मचा दो, कोहराम मचा दो, कोहराम मचा दो। We have to come on this field. We have to fight. And one more thing, when we are deciding today for future course of action, we should remember the words of Swami Vivekananda. To achieve the goal is nothing special. To achieve the goal is nothing special. To maintain the patience in the process of achieving the goal. To maintain the patience in the process of achieving the goal is really a great thing, and that patience we have to maintain. With these words, friends, thank you very much. Dhanyawad. Jai Hind.